this country's ever produced? I think it's fairly obvious. I think it answers kind of your question right there. I'll answer your question with a question.
Do you just sit around, when you go to the Hanson concert, do you just do mbop the whole time?
Well, I'm not really a concert guy, but, it depends on what they're playing. I mean, if they're playing like Where's the Love, then you rock a little bit because that's more of a rock song. But, Weird would be a little bit more of like a ballad.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it strange?
Didn't they have like a Christmas album?
Snowed In. Went platinum.
Okay.
Hanson Snowed In. Went platinum, yeah.
Okay.
I do not understand why that's funny. Everybody likes Christmas music.
Everybody likes Christmas music, yes.
We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Like, very little, like, brings me to tears, like, emotional. I have an emotional response for Taylor's part in We Wish You a Merry Christmas on Snowed In. Like, you just feel it. Like, you feel Christmas morning again as, like, an 8-year-old going down, opening presents. It's just special. That's how I would define that album, special.
As we were saying, how about that flyover?
OnlyIndieTickets.com, worry-free guarantee, all your concert tickets, sports tickets. I think they have the Fever on there. I should check on the Fever. Okay. I'll get with Tim and check on that. OnlyIndieTickets.com if you want to check that out.
We have milk to drink and prizes to give away next, right? Not prizes, but awards.
Awards to give away. So winners and losers from the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 when we return.
We can't double up, right?
Yeah, we're not going to double up. Okay. I promise. Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Welcome back. It's Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender presents Query and Schultz.
And we are in the Lou Malnati studio.
In the Lou Malnati studio as well. Thanks to Mike Wood and his team, BAWFG.com, for being the presenting sponsor of this show. 18 Indiana branch locations. Now they've got a couple in Florida even, but your hometown mortgage lender. I know that they're expanding now, but you think of Indiana, you think of Bailey & Wood. Rates are climbing. But if you are in the market for a new home, you have to get your pre-approval because it is just an insanely competitive market with the low inventory out there. You could do so at BAWFG.com or by calling 855-350-HOME or going into any one of those 18 Indiana branch locations.
BAWFG.com.
BAWFG.
BAWFG.com.
You got it.
Okay.
Ready for winners and losers?
Let's do it.
33-car field, right?
Okay.
So even when you don't win the race or podium or lead a lap or anything like that, I think there are guys that you can consider having really good days and winning days. And the one that actually kind of led off my list here, and I didn't pick him because he's a fellow Connecticutian.
Can we just say Marcus Erickson is the obvious? So
33-car field. So let's separate Erickson from the rest of the field.
Let me begin with this, Derek, because these are all going to be facts we're going to say. Let me give you the milk facts real quick. Okay, I'm not sure which.
Oh, are we going to pick the winner first before we do winners and losers? Our big winner of the week.
Wouldn't that?
Sorry, you didn't say. I thought we were going to do winners and losers and then.
I got it right here. Winners drink milk.
Okay, fine.
Winners drink milk. By the way, you saw it. Marcus Erickson took the most famous swig of milk in all of sports, and I'm not sure which milk he actually selected. You can do 2% whole buttermilk.
I think he did whole. Only 3 drivers, I think, did 2%.
But Marcus Erickson, who looks slightly like Ryan Hunter-Reay in that photo.
He does a little bit.
Yesterday, now he could have taken that Husky chocolate, added it to his milk to make chocolate milk. Chocolate milk, by the way, an outstanding post-workout beverage.
Yeah, after arms, I always do chocolate milk.
After what?
After arms day.
Okay.
I always do chocolate milk.
Because you're talking about enough vitamin A as 2 basically handfuls of spinach, the same amount of protein as 2 hard-boiled eggs, and the same amount of calcium. Potassium as a banana.
Yep. There you go. You got it.
I got
You
it
almost
right.
tripped up there a little bit.
But anyway, the American Dairy Association of Indiana, thank you so much. Derek and I had a wonderful time emceeing or co-emceeing the American Dairy Association of Indiana Fastest Rookie Luncheon, in which we honored Romain Grosjean. And then we had up there, see if we can remember all the rookies, Derek. Jimmy Johnson was not able to attend, so we had Christian Loongaard, Caleb Eilot, Romain Grosjean, Devlin DeFrancesco, David Malukas, whom I met, Kyle Kirkwood.
Yep.
So, that being said, our winner of the week, Marcus Ericsson, would be the obvious, but you have an interesting one.
I just thought it was a disaster for his team, so he probably doesn't think of himself much as a winner. But Roger Penske getting up there in front of however many people were there, let's say 325,000 people. It's his facility. It's at full throat for the first time with him as the owner. And doing the call, drivers start your engines, and welcoming everybody back to what is now his place. I thought that was a really special moment. I thought, you know what? The winner of this day is that dude. Because you talk about bad timing, like we talked about for Alex Palou. It was bad timing for Penske to buy the Speedway when he did, right? And finally, yesterday, he got to hold a real Indianapolis 500 in that place. So I thought it was a really special day for him and everybody. You know, Doug Bulls, Susie Elliott, all the way down to Arnie. You know, just a special day for everybody involved with IndyCar and the Indianapolis Motor
This
Speedway.
seems like a knock on Arnie.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I mean, Arnie has a nice job, too. He's not president of the Speedway, but he's part of that group, too.
Right.
I saw him yesterday coming out of the elevator.
Did he say anything snarky to you?
No, he kind of looked at me like the mustache. I don't know if he recognized me because of the mustache. Some people didn't recognize me yesterday.
Who didn't recognize you?
Well, Laura originally, Steele. And then I was like, I'm Derek Schultz. Corey and Schultz, beloved Indy Sports Radio. Oh, my God, Derek. Okay. So, yeah, it took a second. I guess I got to swig the milk, though, don't I?
Okay. Kudos to Marcus Ericsson and Roger Penske. All right, Derek, give me your first winner.
So, winners and losers. Fellow Connecticut native, Santino Ferrucci, I thought had a great day. It was spoiled a bit. He very easily could have had a top 5, but he said that his last stop, they got on just the tires weren't working, and it was slick, and he was just holding on for dear life at that point, but still scored a top 10. He's raced in this race 4 times and scored 4 top 10s.
How about this?
3 times as a one-off, right?
And he has improved himself. His qualifying position was better this year.
Yeah.
But he still made up, I think, 7 spots. I can't remember the number of spots that he made up. 5? Made up 5 spots. But coming into it, he'd averaged making up 16 spots.
And he's the kind of guy that sponsors are going to get behind. As long as he remains competitive in this race, he'll have a chance to run it whenever he wants. He's still only 24. He turns 24 tomorrow. So he's still only 24 years old.
Your first winner is Santino Ferrucci.
Yeah.
I will actually take Tony Kanaan. Tony Kanaan, I think a lot of people thought in car number 1, the American Legion car for Chip Ganassi, they thought he was just kind of the late addition. Yeah, Ganassi's going to give him a car because he's bringing money.
He'll finish 14th.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he was there. I mean, he was ready to go fighting, right?
And he was fast all month.
He was.
So I wasn't surprised, actually, that Kanaan was in the mix. I really wasn't because he was quick. Was that his last 500?
No, I think he'll do one more.
I think him coming that close, I think
he'll do one more.
If he didn't, if he was on the fence about it, I think that'll convince him.
He said last week that he wanted to do one more because it will be his 25th year in motorsports, and so he wanted to go 25.
That would be special.
Okay, number 2 for you.
How about this? Another Swede, Felix Rosenqvist. He's hanging on for dear life. He's probably going to lose that seat regardless. I mean, even winning the 500, he's probably going to lose that seat. But it had been a disaster start for him, and now in the month of May, he scores a P6 and a P4. Not bad. If you're going to turn your season around, I mean, I think he's probably viewing this as this is my audition for my next team.
Right.
And, contract year, he knows what's happening over there with that McLaren team. But a really nice day for Rosenqvist yesterday.
Okay, I'm going to go with one that is probably going to surprise you. And it surprised me when I looked at it. Christian Loongaard.
Yeah.
One of the rookies we talked about. He is the first native of Denmark to ever run the Indy 500.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And when we asked him, I thought it was interesting, Derek, when I said, are you nervous at the fastest rookie luncheon? And he said, well, I'm starting basically last, so I don't know how nervous I can be. Listen, even at the beginning of the race, the first stint or so, and for those that don't follow racing avidly, stint just means the first period between the start or any period between two pit stops is a stint. The first stint, I was watching him, and I'm like, and by the way, I had my first stint a year and a half ago. But the first stint that he did, I was like, he's just like running around in last, and this is his game plan? And then kind of quietly, he worked his way up to where he finished, inside
21st?
Yeah,
was that right?
Like that.
Yeah.
But when you're starting 31st and you're going out and you're just keeping it clean, I thought it was a good run.
No, all you want to do is finish. I think if you're in that position, and he was able to finish. That's actually a really interesting Has there been a Norwegian driver? Because when I think of the Scandinavian countries, and maybe Sweden blocks it because Sweden's got a really proud racing history.
They do. Anders Krohn was from Norway, but he never made it to the 500.
Like, how many European countries have never been represented at the Indianapolis 500? Because obviously, Spain, Great Britain, France, Italy, all that, Belgium.
I mean, Czechoslovakia has.
Germany, right?
Germany has.
Yeah.
It's good.
Luxembourg. Has there been a Luxembourg?
Belgium has.
Bertrand Baguette was Belgium, wasn't
Correct.
he? Yeah. And he led at one point. Another good day from yesterday, a guy that you and I both like.
Race car drivers from what country did you ask about? Norway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alexander Rossi ended up with the top 5. And we all know what his future is going to be, and it's not going to be with Andretti. But it was a disaster day for that Andretti team where their cars were just, Grosjean crashed, and they weren't a factor. Marco was out there just, turning laps like he always does and finishing 15th like he always does. But really, for the most part, there was nothing going on with that Andretti team. Colton Herta was in my Honda Civic. I mean, that was embarrassing that they put him in that backup car.
Was he really?
I get you had a late crash on carb day, but you're pulling like 190 miles an hour on some of those laps. Like, he was a hazard. If you're slow enough to be a hazard out there, then that's a real problem for a team of Andretti's resources. So I felt for him. I was really embarrassed for Colton Herta and that team to be out there with the car in that condition.
I'm waiting for my racing database to let me know.
So I guess you could already say that Colton Herta is one of the losers.
Norway.
But Rossi, to me, was a winner from yesterday.
Okay, winner for me, and again, I'm going on admittedly stretches here. Devlin DiFrancesco, rookie for Andretti Autosport. Derek, only because he caught a lot of grief in Texas. He caused a couple of different incidents in Texas. People were not happy with him. There was a lot of discussion about him through practice that he was not prepared for the 500.
You don't want to get near him.
Don't want to get near him.
Yeah.
Look, he went out and had a good, solid run, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
clean.
Kept it clean, right?
You know who probably would have been in here until the last lap for me was Sage. I thought Sage had a nice day, and he was running with the front pack, or at least the front half, and then ended up kind of nuking his day there on the last one. Let's talk bad days. I think the worst day of all is pretty obvious to me for Rinus VeeKay to go from being a real race contender to first out.
I don't see any
in a single car
race
incident.
Car drivers, but they really like their E's and A's. In
Just a disaster day.
Also.
A disaster day for VeeKay, who I think was not going to be in the points championship mix anyway. But now you're definitely out. When you go 33rd in a double points race, your season's over as far as the IndyCar Points Championship is concerned. But also just to have a contending car, he was fast. He was on a good the ECR cars were good. And then to be first out, Jake. You know, it's not like VeeKay crashed lap 158.
Right.
You know, first out. And you were running 3. You were right there with Palou and Dixon. Tough day for him.
Okay, so other losers, right?
Yeah.
VeeKay's, the obvious here, right?
Team Penske?
Yeah, I mean, I will go actually with Will Power. Not Will Power himself, but just that 12 car. He was hauling a boat anchor around.
It never got going.
First quarter of the race. Yeah. He had understeer issues. For those that are unfamiliar, understeer means the car is understeering. So when you're going in the turn, if you're normally just doing this, it's underperforming or underreacting, so you're having to really fight it, right? If you have oversteer, it means it's doing the opposite. You just barely do this, and the car is taking off on you. He had understeer in the beginning. They couldn't get that figured out. I think at one point he might have had a pit hiccup. Newgarden had issues as well. But Power is a guy that I thought was going to win the race. I thought he looked really good in practice on Carb Day, and that team just couldn't get it going, man.
And Newgarden, too. Yeah, I didn't think that this was certainly not a banner day for Team Penske, but there were a couple of guys in the field like Sato, Power, Newgarden, even Pagenaud, who just never really felt like
Pagenaud had a good
it.
run, though.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you're right, though. They
never felt like they were in it, like contending.
You know what I would say, Derek? When I'm up in the turn and I'm calling the race, I have a flip chart. Literally, it looks just like this, like a flip piece of paper. And I always write down the top 8 so I can just look at it and do this. I don't think I wrote down Pagenaud's name all day. Like he was 9th or 10th, but he never got up there to play with the leaders, right? I mean, Ericsson is on every page.
Yeah.
Palou and Dixon are on every page of like the first half of my notebook. Other guys kind of came and went, but Pagenaud never really broke into that upper crust, right? Neither did Elio.
No. Kind of a loser. I feel harsh saying loser because I don't think he necessarily had a terrible day. But a guy that just he very rarely seems to back up his qualifying is just Ed Carpenter. I mean, Ed starts on the first 2 rows like every year, and he ends up 12th, 18th. I know he had the runner-up finish.
Bad luck yesterday, though, man. I mean, the car doesn't refire.
But his whole career feels like he got collected one of those years where he had a real hot car. I mean, he only has 4 top 10s in the last 13 years, which, considering how good his car has been, maybe all that's bad luck. I don't know. Certainly a good chunk of it, and we all like Ed Carpenter, but 4 top 10s in 13 years, considering his qualifying success, I don't think you can view that as anything other than a disappointment.
So I'm down to my last loser?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Derek Schultz because he thought he was going with a svelte look and paying homage to the days of yesteryear of the Coke lot by growing what he thought was a stylish, sexy, or sleek mustache.
It's all of those things.
And instead, by refusing to trim a few of the pesky trims within it, he actually looks like he's got a frozen snot rocket coming out of his nose permanently. It's humiliating and embarrassing, and quite frankly, a reason why I did not have him follow me up to the turn 3 perch or anywhere else. I kept my distance, which I probably should do now because he's got a little tickle in the throat. But nonetheless, Derek,
Somebody
mustache to me.
Yesterday invited me up into the turn 3 perch.
Who? My cousin, Doug?
No, you.
Okay.
Said, you want to come up there with me? And I said, Jake, I'm trying to concentrate on race day. I'm busy here.
What did you have to do?
I'm working media. Yeah, I was working media yesterday at the race.
Was there a Nigel Mansell impersonation tent you had to get to?
Just working media. I was representing Emmis and their brand, kind of like what you do. I've been employed to represent their brand, help their brand along.
Okay.
So people just went crazy for it. I'd say the 2 biggest hits of the media center were my mustache and the candy bar. I don't remember them ever doing a candy bar, but they did gummy bears, M&Ms.
What day was that?
Yesterday. They gave you like a little Chinese takeout box, and then you put in whatever you want in there. It's really good. Like these caramel things.
Were they fresh?
Oh, yeah. Fresh? What do you mean fresh? It's like chocolate and stuff.
Well, I mean, like gummy bears, if they're not. Would you like a gummy bear?
I found a gummy bear under my kid's seat the other day, cleaned out my car, and I ate it. Gummy bears don't really have. Do gummy bears have an expiration date? Like, gummy doesn't go bad, it's gummy.
Have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? That was the whole point of the joke with the principal was she had the gummy bear in her pocket. It's warm. It's been in my pocket all day. It's disgusting because it's past the expiration.
Is that when Sean Penn is the burnout dude?
No, that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Matthew Broderick skips school. Save Ferris. Does the parade. Chicago. Like the St. Patrick's Day or some parade, and he's
somewhere he wears the glasses and he plays for the football team, and then he gets hit, and they get all worried about him. The little kid, Matthew Broderick's character.
That's Lucas, isn't it? I don't know.
Whatever. Let's move on to the next thing. I never understand your references because they don't make sense to me.
We got food to eat. Many people. As a matter of fact, I could probably find it. My buddy Rob Whitaker tell Schultz it's disgusting when he eats on the air. It's awful. We got to get to that.
I have not gotten any of that response.
NBA Finals preview.
Hoagies and Hops Hero of the Week, and the NBA Finals are set. We're talking all about it when we return. Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group, ISC Sports Network.
college wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages in a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Derek, the Indianapolis Star, admittedly our friends. Sometimes the outsourced editorial department bites them a little bit. Here's a fabulous photo they have of Felix Rosenquist's girlfriend is an attractive woman.
Got to get the microphone there. Every driver has an attractive girlfriend or wife. They're race car drivers. They drive rocket ships for a living.
With the Indy Star headline, Indianapolis 500 champion Felix Rosenquist embraces for a kiss from girlfriend Iris Strastaris Jondell.
Oh, no. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times the people that are in Indianapolis aren't writing those captions. It's like the Gannett National people, so they don't. It'd be like us, Jake, it'd be like us trying to caption a Kentucky Derby. You know what I mean? We're like, which horse is which or which jockey? I don't know. I don't follow it. So, yeah. Are they getting lambasted on Twitter because of it?
Well,
or did
we'll
you just
out,
notice it yourself?
I'm getting ready to tweet it out.
Why do you have to be? I saw Glenn Ask up in the press box yesterday, and our buddy Greg Doyle, and they're great folks over there. Don't be mean. It wasn't their fault. We've got our Hoagies and Hops Hero of the Week to get to here in just a second, but let's talk NBA
Our hero
playoffs.
is Felix Rosenquist, champion of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
All right, you done? Before we get to the sandwiches, let's talk NBA Finals because it's set now, Celtics and Warriors. The Heat-Celtics series got Game 6 and Game 7 were actually good, competitive games,
Derek,
entertaining.
Has there been a 7-game series where the road team has won more games?
No. They're one of – I saw a statistic – maybe Rake knows, but I saw a stat that the Celtics are one of 7 teams, I think, in NBA history to ever win 3 road games in the same series. When I was like, I'm surprised that that many teams have won 3 road games in a series. Because even winning 2 is incredible. I know the Pacers did that a couple times. Pacers did that in 95. They won Game 1 and Game 7 at the Garden. They didn't have home court. So it's incredible that they won 3 because it looked like they really blew their chance in Game 6 when Jimmy Butler almost dropped to 50 Berg and was sending it back to Miami. But to me, Jake, the better team won. Like, watching that series, I never felt like Miami was a better team. Did you? Miami had Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum and Brown, when they're playing well.
I felt like a lot of the Celtics players were overperforming, and the Miami players like Bam and were underperforming. Kyle Lowry did not have a good series. So this is a matchup between the 2 top defenses in the NBA this year, and Golden State's offense has just picked it up a couple of notches offensively. I still lean Warriors because I feel like I have a better idea of what I'm going to get from Golden State. But if we're talking how they can play when they're at their very best, I actually think Boston at its best is a better team. But I think Golden State has a higher floor.
What number's that?
Warriors in 6?
No.
6 what? 6 rings, 6.
6 is right.
6 something.
6 is correct.
Okay, just go on with the rest of it. What is it?
Celtics in 6.
Oh.
That's hard to say.
So you like the Celtics? I like
Celtics
the Warriors
in
in 7.
Can you say Celtics in 6 quickly?
Celtics in 6.
Say it quickly, though.
Celtics in 6.
How'd you do that?
Talented.
Okay.
Just tell.
Celtics in 6. Okay.
Celtics in 6, yep.
Okay. Boston in 6.
But they're going to need those ancillary pieces to play well because that's really, Al Horford. How about that? What a series that he had. Robert Williams is a real difference maker as a rim protector for them. So
Grant Williams, isn't that his name?
Yeah, the Warriors. Yeah, the Warriors will have to contend with that. Derek White, if he makes shots, then he hasn't been doing that a lot, but he did in the final couple of games in the series. So I'm interested. I think this is going to be a good finals. We did not have a good conference finals, so I think this is going to be a good finals.
Long flights for both teams. Would you want to be covering that series if you were like a Boston writer and you had to keep going back and forth?
Yeah. I think
do it remote.
Being on the road when you only have to do it once in a while is cool because it's like almost like a novelty.
Right.
Being on the road as a beat writer, I would not want to do.
Yeah,
I'd be 300 pounds because you eat whatever you can whenever you can.
That's
right?
exactly right.
I don't even know how those guys. Remember when we'd see Revson in the Final Four and he'd always be dripping sweat because he'd be like running. He had to run 10 miles a day just to stay in shape because the dude is on the road 300 days a year.
You're right.
I mean, it's incredible.
Did you bring in Derek? By the way,
I sure did.
Make sure we've got our tomatoes looking fabulous. We are in the Lou Malnati's studio, which we love Lou Malnati. And Derek has brought in sandwiches from Hoagies and Hops.
Yep.
Do you have more
I
than
went
one
to pick
sandwich?
these up on my bike on the way back from the race. So I stopped at 42nd and Boulevard because I was coming up that way.
You've been holding on to these for how long?
Huh? Well, they're closed on Monday, so I'll usually pick these up on Sunday night.
Okay.
They hold up really well. I actually kind of like the...
Unlike
the
gummy
Hoagie
bears,
that they
by the
have.
way, expiration date 18 months for gummy bear.
All right, here's yours. I did not touch it with my hands.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, but I got to put the fixins on this too.
Less eating
there are a lot
on
of
the air,
fixins.
people have been telling me.
This is just...
looks wonderful.
Jake, you'll like this. No frills. This is a classic ham and cheese hoagie, and it's Christina's dad's favorite. So, well, it's got a bunch of fixins on it, so don't just eat the ham and cheese. It's got lettuce, tomato, long hots, peppadew peppers, and extra oil plus onion. That's what her pop likes on it. And our thoughts with Christina and her family and her dad because her nan just passed away.
Oh.
She's actually flying back to PA. So
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, keep Christina and her family and her dad in your thoughts. But that's what's kind of cool, to put it in an emotional standpoint.
Bell pops or whatever you call it.
Every single sandwich that Christina has on her menu is some sort of tribute to something.
That's cool.
And, that's kind of what you get with the family feel and the local feel of Hoagies and Hops. I love oil.
They're gonna have one
So
named after
I'm
you, Derek?
completely with her dad when it comes to the oil.
What are they going to name after? What's going to be your name?
I know, yeah. We could do like a stash sandwich.
Okay.
The problem with mustaches
Unlikely.
is that you can't put like mustache hair into something that you're going to eat,
Needless to say,
Oh, I got oil on my mouse pad.
you'd have to be.
I didn't get it on the table, though.
You'd be one of the.
So here we go.
shorter
This is with the fixins.
Let me
lettuce,
find
tomato,
it.
shaved onion, oil, and then I actually got to do the. I'll do the peppers here in a
I
second.
want to find the message that my buddy Rob Whitaker sent that said that he thinks you're disgusting because you eat on the air all the time.
I don't think it's disgusting at all. Do people think it's disgusting?
Yeah, I think it's very rude. I think it's disgusting.
I don't think anybody else thinks that. It's just a sandwich. I think most
He
people
was
like.
listening to it too. He wasn't even watching, which right now is totally disgusting.
It's just a delicious sandwich. Like I don't. Why would you be grossed out by me eating a sandwich? I don't know. People are weird about stuff like that.
I don't remember where. I can't find it here, but he said along the lines of, "Jake, I'm listening to your podcast. Here it is, right here. Matter of fact, you can read it out loud. Whitaker, what's it say?
Well, I don't care what your North
top.
Central buddies think about
The
me.
top. Go ahead and read it out loud.
Oh my God, Jake, I'm listening to your podcast with Schultz. Spell my name wrong. And it grosses me out so much when he talks with his mouth stuffed with food. Your response, yeah, he's terrible with that. Well, I can't read that word.
Right.
So gross. He does that every show. Tell him to, wait, is this a group chat?
Yes.
Oh, so that's somebody else.
Yeah.
Byron did
Yeah.
that? Wow. That's the last time I say nice stuff about Byron. That's like one of your friends that I liked is Byron.
Well,
Well, he's a jerk. I don't like Byron anymore. HoagiesandHops.com, 42nd and Boulevard. Hero of the Week, Jason Tatum. He was your Larry Bird Award winner because that's a thing now with the conference finals. So you have a Magic Johnson Award. You've got a Larry Bird Award for the West and East. 26, 10, and 6 in the deciding Game 7. And, the Celtics had been knocking on the door for a long time. All those Brad Stevens years, too, where they just kept hitting the glass ceiling.
I know that Brad Stevens is in the front office now. Is this favorable or not favorable for Brad Stevens?
I think it's favorable in the sense that he hired the coach. He understood that he needed to step away. And he made some of the little tweaks that have, like bringing Horford back, that have helped them, yeah, and the White trade. So I think it reflects, Jake, anytime you're part of the administration of an NBA Finals team, it's got to reflect well for you. Now, if Stevens had retired and then suddenly the Celtics go to the Finals, that's a different story.
I mean, the coach is somebody I'd never even heard of, so I'll give him credit there, right?
Yeah, he did a nice job with that. Did I get anything in the mustache?
No, you're fine.
I want to make sure that we're okay.
Quick hits next.
Quick hits next. And a couple more features to get to, including Kenny Moore sitting out. And we'll get Jake's reaction on Kenny Moore. I'm sure Bowen had you talking about that like all 4 hours every single day last week. So, Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Aren't you glad you get to hang out with me?
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler!
Wrestler! Whoa!
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back to Corey and Schultz. Let me give you an idea of what happens here during the commercial break. Derek, with a mouthful of food, says to me, yesterday pretty exhausting. Which I believe translates to yesterday was pretty exhausting. Now, in this room right now, and you can't see it because it's just off camera, is Greg Rakestraw. Greg began his morning as the PA host of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway beginning at 6 a.m. Carried that responsibility until, I'm guessing, around 11 or so, somewhere around there. Stuck around for the race to help with MS Communications, and then hosted the post-race show, which ended around 7. Also in this room is myself. My name is Jake Query. And admittedly, on Sunday, it is a lighter day for me. I got to the Speedway around 9 a.m., but I broadcasted the Indianapolis 500-mile race, which is an awesome job and a lot of fun, not overly tiring. But I had to host an event for my other job on Saturday evening. Was at the parade on Saturday. On Friday, I had to do my morning show, followed by Carb Day, followed by another event to attend. That was on Friday. Derek had to ride his bike to the Speedway with his drag and his mustache. What else did you have yesterday?
I was working media.
Working?
So,
in what way?
Well, I was working media. I was up there with MS. I was helping further their brand by being there. I took some mustache vids. I live streamed my ride in, so I live stream. You can watch it on YouTube.
Did you buckle again this year?
Did I what?
Buckle.
2016 100th running, I had an incident on 30th Street where I hit a gutter and
gutter
and wiped out.
What were you riding down somebody's?
Well, it's a little hectic because you're going in between cars.
A gutter's on a house. Where were you?
No,
riding?
like a drain, in the road. I did get yelled at by a cop this year.
Really?
Told me to get the F on the. I was riding into oncoming traffic.
Well, that's okay.
On 30th, which probably while I was live streaming on my phone, which probably wasn't the best idea.
How long was the ride in?
Oh well, the ride in was an hour, but somebody got a flat in the convoy and they stopped for shots twice, so it shouldn't have taken that long.
Like the booster?
No, like tequila.
Oh,
I didn't have any because I was working media yesterday, so I didn't have any alcohol.
Yeah, because God forbid with that mustache you should do something to compromise your.
Well, I wanted to be professional. Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. But the ride back was 37 minutes.
Not bad.
So that's what.
Where did you park your bike?
At TJ's RV lot, 25th in Georgetown. So I chained it to his RV.
Okay.
And then I changed in the portalet. So I brought a change of clothes, and I changed in they have a portalet, and I changed in that.
A private portalet?
Oh yeah, it's a one person. What kind of portalets are you using?
No,
It's
I'm
a one person portalet.
I'm saying
yes.
a portalet just for them, or like a public portalet. Like their campground, do they themselves like?
It is. I think it's the community campground portalet. It was pretty clean. It wasn't like the Coke Lot portalets, because I told you that story of the Coke Lot one, right? Where
good. Thank you. Okay.
The last morning that I camped out in that Coke Lot. Well, let me finish the story. It was full, and
what are we doing here?
You would have to try to get it to be as dirty as it was. Like you'd have to.
Okay, we've already
remove
discussed the
some
fact
of
that you're
it,
disgusting.
and I don't know if they
Thank
tossed it up on the ceiling or what.
Our Sage move of the week is.
But there was like a mound coming out of it, so if you wanted to say sit, you wouldn't be able to. It was all blue. It was all. It was more green because it was the brown of the poo mixing with the blue of the portalet water. So it was more of like a greenish color. But yeah. So no, I didn't have to experience that this time around. This was a much cleaner portalet this time.
Well, I'm glad. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that when you decided to change clothing and refresh yourself after your bike ride. Mm-hmm. Our Sage Move of the Week is brought to you by WGU Indiana, who I'm sure is thrilled to be a part of this segment. WGU, of course, Indiana's largest online accredited university, because ambition never rests. And if you're thinking about going back to school, whether it's to pursue a degree for the first time, maybe to finish certification for your workplace, or simply go back and get the degree that you left on the table. 700,000 Hoosiers have college credits out there that they have not completed. WGU has a wide variety of classes you can take, programs that you can receive degrees. WGU.edu/Indiana, because ambition never rests. There is Sage right there. Fabulous. The owl that is always overlooking with our Sage Move of the Week. Derek, you had mentioned earlier we can each give our own nominee. For me, it's going to be not Sage Karam, but in Dreyer Reinbold Racing, his teammate, Santino Ferrucci.
Yeah, who we talked about.
Who absolutely Sage Move of the Week in terms of his ability. This is what, to me, is so impressive about Santino Ferrucci. When it was go time, he could go, and he could make passes, and he at one point on a restart went 4 wide going into 1. He is fearless in the way he drives a race car. But at the same time, and this is to me what is very impressive, Santino Ferrucci knew when to kind of back up and when to let it go. And you know, a lot of younger drivers don't know when it is to not push the envelope. He shows an excellent restraint in both areas. To me, Sage Move of the Week, just to run for. Yeah, we could talk about Juan Montoya moving up from like 30th to 11th. We could talk about
another
Casper
great run for
27th to
Montoya.
7th, but yeah,
back-to-back years where you haven't really thought about him, and he's turned in 2 nice results. Ferrucci, am I right in saying, kind of rubbed people the wrong way when he first came in because he's a very confident dude, and he's a little.
Well, he had some issues in Formula One.
Aggressive too, and yeah, he probably there were some actions that he probably wishes that he could take back. But I do like. I've always kind of liked the confidence and the swagger. There's just something about it, you wouldn't know because you didn't come from that state. There's something about when you're from Connecticut, you have sort of that that chip, that swagger, and you can turn it into greatness like Ferrucci's done or like what I've done with my career too. So that Ferrucci's actually a really good pick. My Sage move of the week, Nottingham Forest.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, they have been promoted to the Premier League.
Really?
So
Who
while
got
I
relegated?
was...
Who got relegated?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Rakestraw. I was working media yesterday at Emmis, and before the race, Rake was checking out, Rake, our buddy and a big soccer guy, was checking out what was going on. And there was a match, there was a big soccer weekend, Champions League, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and then yesterday there was a match for promotion. And I don't know any stuff about this EPL stuff. I just know that sometimes teams get sent up, sometimes they get sent down. But when you get sent up, it's a huge, huge deal. So now little old Nottingham Forest gets sent up to the Premier
Is
League.
Nottingham Forest where Robin Hood lived?
Yeah, there was something that's part of that Nottingham. Yeah, I was going to say Red Riding Hood, but that's not right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Robin Hood. Yeah, like the who is the sheriff? Wasn't it Sheriff Nottingham from Robin Hood? I think that was the sheriff's name.
There's
if I'm not
like
mistaken.
91st and Westfield. There's a neighborhood called Nottingham, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks to our friends at WGU Indiana, I unfortunately didn't run into Corey yesterday. He was decked out with like a big checkered flag, and he's always got like loud shoes. They're like neon and stuff. I was just happy he wasn't wearing Astros gear because that dude wears he wears either Texas or Astros gear all the time. I'm like, dude, it's
Proud
a race
Texan,
weekend,
man.
Like, what are you doing?
Proud Texan.
Yeah, but you got to be a proud Hoosier this weekend.
Derek, it's time for quick hits.
Let's get to those quick hits. Biggest Indy 500 fan I know is our buddy Darren King. He was at the race with Leighton and his wife Crystal. They're great people, and they run a great auto shop called Tire Stewart and Auto. Stop 13 Road,
Stewart
Indianapolis.
Tire and Auto.
Sorry, what did I say?
Tire Stewart and Auto. It's Stewart Tire and Auto.
Okay. Stewart Tire and Auto. Sorry. I was thinking about what I was going to say next.
Nice job.
Stop 11 Road, Southside Indy, just north of the county line. Anything for your car. Anything as simple as oil changes to, brakes, pads, rotors, tires. Obviously, it's got tire in the name. Whatever it is. Go see Darren and his team. Not only are they an honest crew, a good crew, they're going to give you a great price as well. Don't go to the dealerships. Dealerships rip you off. Went to the Nissan dealership. Hey, my sunroof's leaking. Okay, that's $800. What?
Right.
It's just got a little leak. Like, this can't possibly cost $800. This was several years ago before I knew Darren, but thank God I know Darren now. Kenny Moore sitting out OTAs, kind of overshadowed a bit by all the Indy news last week. I wasn't, I don't really have NFL on the mind right now. But Moore currently in a 4-year deal, $33 million. He's only the 27th highest paid cornerback in the league, and he wants a pay bump.
I get it. I mean, I know the argument can be made when players don't play well, they can get released without any fair warning. I get it. He signed a contract.
And they rewarded him early. They gave him that money early, and then he ended up paying it off. But again, Jake, I mean, it's not that Moore is the 7th highest paid corner and wants to be paid more. He's the 27th highest paid corner. So I can understand where he's coming from.
I think, Derek, that sometimes
the market changes.
I get it. Sometimes I think it's best to get guys. Like if I was a GM and I had to decide between two players, I would pick the one that already has had cause or reason in his life to be a diva. And that has already been in a situation where there's a lot of spotlight and focus on him or things running through him because he would better know how to handle it and what the expectation is. Kenny Moore's a really nice guy, no doubt. He's been a good player, been a great citizen. But he also has never been in a situation where he's becoming like the guy and a fan favorite. So I don't know that he best knows how to react to that.
But I still think, though, you could have it's business, right?
When
and
are you trimming
have
the mustache?
Tonight. Yeah. If I wasn't married, I'd just keep it probably for a while. And then I probably wouldn't stay unmarried for long. But no, I'm going to – it repulses Ashley. Like, she is physically repulsed by it.
I mean, granted, I guess if that could get Freddie Mercury married, it probably could help you out.
Yeah, an icon kind of like me, Freddie Mercury, lead singer of Queen. We were talking about Kenny Moore. It's business. It's leverage, right? And you got to get yours while you can get it. He knows they have cap space to do it. Not as much as maybe you think that they have. I think the most likely scenario is that you lock in these final 2 years or even just tag an extension on it and make him more like the 10th highest paid cornerback in the league. I don't think he's asking for the world here. You know, you paid Gilmore, what are you paying him, 20-something?
Well, I think that's what this is all coming down to, right?
Yeah.
And I get that.
Or I think the total of the deal is 20. You're paying him like 11, 12 million a year. I think Gilmore. I have to go back and look, but Kenny Moore's set to make I think 6.5 and 7 or something like that.
Right.
So it's a little below market. The Indiana Fever continue to make changes. Marion Stanley, Gonzo,
Carlos Knox, right?
Carlos Knox, yeah. Who I know a lot of. If you're familiar with the local basketball circuits in here at all, you know that name. So good for Carlos Knox, interim head coach of the Fever, and they got him a dub the other night. So
a win.
Yeah, a dub. Nice, fresh dub. Here's your dub, sir. R.I.P., and I think you sent something out about this. Rest in peace to Jim Richter, better known as the Broom Guy.
Yep, what a legend.
On the north side of Indianapolis. Passed away over the weekend at 84 years old. He learned how to make brooms at the Indiana School of the Blind, and then for decades was... Broad Ripple, Nora.
From my childhood, Derek. I remember,
all the post offices up there.
I was most excited as a kid when I was your son's age. I was most excited about someday having my own place so that I could buy a broom from him. And when I did, I will never forget, I bought a broom from him and said, walked up and introduced myself, and he immediately, because I'd worked in radio, knew who I was because, as a visually impaired person, radio is his television, kind of. So he knew my voice right away. Could not have been a sweeter guy. And just to listen, no matter what walk of life you're in, what you want to become is a respected, admired, and appreciated part of your community. And he was absolutely all three of them.
Yeah.
Major part of Indianapolis.
No, that's good that the Broom Guy knew you, and you were able to name drop in there. That you were so famous that even somebody famous like the Broom Guy knew
you know what I did when I name dropped him?
What's that?
Swept it up with a broom.
Yeah, there you go. But it is sad. It'll be sad to not be out there.
It was my point. That probably came off wrong.
No, I was totally kidding, Jim.
I was thrilled, though. Like, I thought it was so cool that he...
I think he recognized everybody, though.
Right.
That's the thing.
He had, like, a photographic memory.
It's just kind of one of those things where he almost became, like, synonymous with anytime I had to drop off a package or a letter, like, he was always there. My wife lived in the apartments right behind Nora for a while. And, I'm up in that, Midtown to North Side is not that far. So I'm up there all the time, and it'll be weird to not see him around.
Here's everything you need to know about him. He was visually impaired, and I asked him once, I said, how do you know when people pay you that what they're paying you? 20, a 10, a 5?
Yeah.
A 1? He said, I don't. But I've only been cheated once. Now, what does that tell you about the fact that, I'm not saying that people just didn't take advantage of it, but no one would have thought to do that because that's the kind of guy he was, right?
And he wouldn't have thought to do something to ensure that because he was that type of trusting.
Right.
He's just very much a throwback. He's what old Indianapolis used to be, right?
He's great.
When it comes to that. Biter Bobley from Chateau Kitchens. We'll talk a little tomatoes and a little pizza as well. And we'll tie a bow on episode 88, the Marvin Harrison edition of Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group here on IX.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Back for a final time here on Bailey and Wood. Mortgage Lender presents Query and Schultz. Alongside Jake Query, I'm Derek Schultz. Thanks so much for watching, whether you're on, let's say, YouTube, youtube.com/Query and Schultz. Maybe you're watching on our new-ish Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Query and Schultz. Maybe you're listening in podcast form, and I don't like it when he eats.
Just tell me what the people
Any
say.
one of the major platforms, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the whole deal. If there's a platform that we're not on and that you like, Derek at QueryandSchultz.com, let me know. Or you're streaming us on ISC Sports Network or watching on Comcast 81. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day. Last night and today's just a beautiful day. We're taping this on Memorial Day Monday. It's patio weather for eating, which means I need to get back over to Lou Malnati's in Broad Ripple.
Oh, yeah.
Because that patio is spectacular over in right in Midtown, right in my haunt. And I know Rakestraw's already taken advantage of that. Grabbed a Lou Malnati's pie and sat outside.
Derek, Lou Malnati's, I mean, you're talking about a Chicago institution that people would from Indianapolis would go to Chicago like just to get it or buy the gift cards, give out the gift cards just to get it. Now you can do it right here in Indy.
I mean, gas prices as they are now, it's actually a great thing. You don't have to drive up to the region or up to Chicago to get a Malnati's pie. But they have a bunch of Indy area locations, a Greenwood store opening up later on this summer. We already talked about the Broad Ripple location, which is the one dine-in location that they have in the area, but also delivery or carry-out from 2 additional stores, West 86th Street as well as Carmel. LouMalnati's.com. Pet-friendly on the patio in Broad Ripple, and we really thank them for their support of this show as the studio title sponsor. Great folks over there at Lou's. And Mark was a great guy. I mean, what a cool
family
dude.
owned. I mean, the whole deal, right?
Absolutely. I wonder if he's ever been to the 500, given all his familiar ties to
went to IU,
Indy.
right? I mean, the owner of Lou Malnati's Pizzeria from Chicago went to IU.
Because we talked to him in April. I didn't think to ask him, but I would assume that he's been to the 500 before.
I'm sure he has.
I would think. Time for
Sensible
our
guy
Bite or
like that.
Bowl Bleep to wrap up. By the way, speaking of positive reception, besides the Lou Malnati's pies and their Broad Ripple patio, people just loved the segment last week with the before and after pictures of the shower. I got a lot of positive response.
Zero chance
about it.
Zero
They
chance.
said, Schultz, your shower looks beautiful. They did amazing work.
I'm sure Chateau Kitchens was amazing.
And I even got an email from, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to use the name, but from a female that said it triggered a response in me when I saw the before and after pictures. And I said, oh, that's good.
Of the shower, yes. Chateau Kitchens.
She meant all the pictures. Triggered a response. So that's good. That's what we want. We want people to respond and think beauty. And that's why they go to chateaukitchens.com. Before and after pictures of all of their projects. Instagram at Chateau Kitchens, Facebook at Chateau Kitchens, if you want to follow along. Here's what we do with Bite or Bowl Bleep. I give a statement, and Jake and I go back and forth whether we buy it or it's Bowl Bleep. Ready for statement 1?
Sure.
Yesterday will be Marcus Erickson's lone Indianapolis 500 win. Buy it or Bowl Bleep? We haven't had a lot of one-offs here recently.
Only because I think he's a talented guy, and he clearly is with a great team. But when you look at the competition rising behind him, Potter O'Ward, young guy. Renus VK, young guy. Colton Herta, young guy. Alexander Rossi, about to drive for McLaren. Who's not young, but younger.
Scott McLaughlin, I think you could put there.
Did I say Colton
Alex
Herta?
Pillow, yeah.
Alex Pillow, Scott McLaughlin. For that reason, I will say, because he is 31 years old, yes.
Jake, you just kind of wonder if any of those guys, of the one-time winners recently here, like let's take Kanaan out because Kanaan's in the twilight, but Rossi, Power, Pagano, you wonder if any of them are going to be able to win again just because. Excuse me. I'm sorry. We'll get that in post. Sorry. I had a shaved onion come up there. Me. 3, 2, 1. You wonder if any of those guys are going to be able to
That's not what
win
I'm
another
wondering
one.
right now. I can assure you of that.
I don't know what you're talking about because we got whatever you're talking about in post, so no one knows. I don't know if Dixon's going to win again. Dixon might have just had his best chance, or
right.
in his last best chance.
I mean, you may be
at
right
winning
about
another
that.
500.
Yeah. So in other words, I would say buy it that that's his only win, and I say it having as no knock on Marcus Ericsson at all. Yeah.
I actually forgot to do number 2 and number 3 for Bide or Bull Bleep. The one that I had, I typed it out.
Bide or
this
Bull
morning.
Schultz, the crowd next year will be as big as this year's Indy 500. If the forecast is the same.
I'm hopeful that this Snake Pit concert, which was not well received in all circles, and some of these other events that they've put on to be like, okay, how do we get people in here that might not ever really care about the race?
Right.
That there's real permanency, if that's even a word, to that. Because we've seen it just kind of go like this. And yes, this was the biggest crowd since 16, so it went a little bit off the charts because of COVID and all that. I think we're going to settle in, Jake, where if you take the average of the 2017, 18, 19, and yesterday's crowd, I think we'll be able to consistently hit that mark. Like, I believe consistently that we'll be threatening. If yesterday was 325 or 315,000, I think we'll consistently hit the 300 mark. Which, if you would have asked anybody at the Speedway 15 years ago, you're going to consistently get 300 here, they wouldn't have even ever.
Right.
I think they gave up on that probably forever.
Okay, Bide or Bull Schultz. The duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will have a higher, between the two of them, total point score in the NBA final total than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Well, you and I might have a different answer here. Because if I'm going to pick the Warriors to win, then I'm going to have to say that Steph and Klay probably have more. Even though, Poole and
that's it.
Green and, they spread it out, I feel like, a little bit more. Not that Boston's ancillary pieces haven't been pretty good, too. I'll take Curry and Klay, but I don't say that with a lot of confidence because Brown and Tatum have been pretty incredible.
Do you think it's odd that Golden State plays in the Bay Area and the Kings play in Sacramento?
No. Because the capital is Sacramento?
Yeah, and they're named after, it's the California team.
I don't know. When I think
I guess the California Angels played in Los Angeles.
I guess Golden State would be alluding to the gold rush, right?
Well, the state of California is called.
No, I know. But I think Golden State was named that because of the gold rush, right? When California became a state because of the gold.
Interestingly enough, I always think of Golden State meaning the state, the Golden Sunsets.
When I think of Golden,
you're right. I think it is the Golden.
When I think of Golden State, I think of the Golden Gate Bridge, and that's San Francisco Bay Area. So I've never felt like it's out of place.
Do you think it's weird the Golden Gate Bridge is not gold?
It's like an orangey color, isn't it?
It has a name for its own paint. They paint it like all year round.
Do they really?
Like when they get to the other side, they're like, all right, go back and run it again.
I didn't know that. I've always been more of a GW Bridge fan.
Have you been to the Golden Gate Bridge?
No. I've been to San Francisco, but no.
You've been to San Francisco and not to the Golden Gate Bridge?
No. How about this one?
Who goes to San Francisco and has not been to the Golden Gate Bridge?
You want a real shocker? I have never been to the Statue of Liberty.
But you've seen it.
I just never went. Yeah.
You've seen it, though.
I've been to New York a bajillion times.
Have you at least taken the Staten Island ferry and gone past it?
I've gone. Yeah, I've taken the ferry before. Yeah,
but
I've never been in it. I've never been in the Statue of Liberty.
You didn't miss anything because I spent all day going to the top of it, and it's like, really, that's it. But how do you go? What were you doing in San Francisco that did not include going to the Golden Gate Bridge?
God, we did a bunch. We were there for 2 weeks. We went to the Full House. I remember that.
Would you live there?
No, we were staying. We were staying in Tracy because that's where my uncle was living in Tracy at the time. But it was a really fun trip.
Did you go to Coit Tower?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alcatraz?
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool thing to do.
But you didn't go to.
We went to that. What is it? That I think that's San Francisco. Isn't that Height Ashbury? Like the Grateful Dead
did you know
thing?
that they have Alcatraz has an outdoor eatery? And do you know what that has in common with the runner-up of the Indy 500?
I do not.
They're both the patio ward. You okay there?
Let's just end the show.
Deep down, you were impressed by that, weren't you?
I'm coughing, and you made a bad joke, so let's end the show. Thanks to all of our sponsors today. Chateau Kitchens, Lou Malnati's Pizzeria, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, our friends at Stewart Tire and Auto.
But never seen the pagoda.
I didn't say that. I've seen the pagoda many times. OnlyIndyTickets.com, Hoagies and Hops, WGU Indiana, Love Heating and Cooling. Thanks to Alan Hughes. Thanks to Greg Rakestraw. We will see you next week. Take a good look, because this is the last time we're going to see this baby for at least another year. I'm sorry. Corey Schultz, IC Sports Network.